Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. We are going live with some breaking severe weather coverage in an area that I really did not expect a tornado to happen in today. But we do have a tornado warning that was just issued east of Dallas. This is actually in North Texas near West Tawakoni. This is an area that we actually have had some strong rotation in for a few minutes now. This is just newly developing near the Quinlan area, embedded in a cluster of storms. It's moving southeast. So this storm does have the capability to produce a tornado as it does continue to move east and east southeast over the next several minutes. So if you're in this particular tornado warning near West Tawakoni or Quinlan, you need to seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this is a rain-wrapped area of circulation, so there's really not going to be any visual of this because it's just completely wrapped in rain here. But this area is for West Tawakoni. They have just condensed this tornado warning as well. So again, notice how small this polygon is, just to the southeast of Quinlan. So if you're in this particular warning, again, you need to seek shelter, get away from windows, get on the lowest floor possible. This is all from an area of basically just a cluster of storms that's been moving through for the last few hours now. We've had a mesoscale convective system moving across North Texas and even back into Louisiana and Arkansas, where damaging winds continues to be the main concern. But again, a little bit of a surprise here that we actually have some rotation that is embedded here in this line of storms. So with that said, we could end up seeing another isolated tornado threat develop down the road here, as this does continue to push down to the southeast and east southeast towards Emory, Grand Saline, Canton, Van. All those areas would be in the potential track of this particular cluster of storms, with maybe even an isolated tornado threat here over the next little while. So again, if you're anywhere here in eastern North Texas, definitely stay vigilant. Obviously, this is an area of storms that's been mostly just producing tons of lightning, flooding, and also now an isolated tornado threat to go along with that here today. Now, I do want to mention, we are actually probably going to be live here for a little bit. This is not really the main concern. We were mostly planning on going live for the convection that's attempting to develop back over in the Texas Panhandle in Oklahoma. So we're going to be watching for this over the next couple of hours. We'll see if anything gets going. We do have one supercell that's really getting going just east of Amarillo. We'll have Storm Chaser with Storm Runner Media with us, in addition to another Storm Chaser that we've never used before that we might also have in this stream. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. Again, if you're just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning for West Tawakoni, Texas, just to the southeast of Quinlan, northeast of Terrell. Rotation right now is right here. So again, completely rain-wrapped area of circulation that is currently moving east and southeast. Next in track of this will be Wills Point, Edgewood, Fruitvale, Grand Saline, and Emory, Texas. So if you're in any of those locations, again, you need to seek shelter, or at least stay weather aware if you're down that direction. But you need to seek shelter if you're in the pink polygon. They might end up issuing a new tornado warning out in front of this, depending on how that rotation goes. This particular tornado warning is pretty small, so they might end up issuing a new one if that rotation does stay strong enough, as that does continue to push down to the southeast and east-southeast over the next several minutes. But again, a lot of rain with this, lots of lightning, obviously a chance even for an isolated tornado with this, as it does continue to move southeast over the next several minutes. All right. Hope everybody's doing well, by the way. Again, I did not think I was going live this early. I was legitimately on my VR headset about literally 4 minutes ago. So we've been live for 3 minutes. I was on it 4 minutes ago. My phone buzzes. I look at it and there's a tornado warning. I mean, I've had my stream set up here for a while in case we had to go live. This is probably the one area that I did not expect to go live for in this today. So that's definitely something. Also, we do have 7 severe thunderstorm warnings. The bulk of those are in both Louisiana and even southern Arkansas. We do have one back over in North and South Dakota. We also have one in Wisconsin. And the one in Wisconsin, I do want to hop to just really quickly. There is a tornado possible label on that one. We've had some storms up here in Wisconsin that have been trying to produce mostly just wind, but there's also been a little bit of rotation here and there. Looking at Janesville, Wisconsin right now. Notice that surge of wind is approaching Janesville. Here is the velocities here. So upwards of 60-mile-per-hour winds right now approaching Janesville. So that area in particular is also another area to watch for an isolated tornado threat. Meanwhile, we still have the tornado warning here in parts of eastern North Texas, moving east-southeast. Once again, there is going to be a chance for a tornado with this. We might see a new warning for those north of Canton. We'll have to wait and see. That rotation is not really super strong, but it's definitely strong enough to the point where we could get a tornado just southeast of Quinlan. Not a super favorable environment here for tornadoes today in this part of Texas, but with any of this storm activity, anything that can, kind of get going here, we might see an isolated tornado. Right now, there is just a large 2% tornado risk here, and then our large 5% conditional tornado risk back over in the Texas Panhandle, where we could end up seeing an isolated tornado or two. We could even see a strong tornado in this environment, even though there's no 10% hatched area. It's just a very conditional risk right now. We really need to see storms in the next hour, so really the time frame to watch for would be anywhere from now up until probably about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then after that I think things kind of wind down there. So that's what we're looking at right now, back over that direction. I want to break in Wisconsin. You're saying you want to break in Wisconsin. I think anybody that lives in North Texas wants a break right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I think North Texas in particular, everybody like literally in Texas has been dealing with storms for the last several days now. It's been quite literally unbelievable. Here's the tornado warning, by the way, just for reference. So this is the outlined area. West Tawakoni, it's just along a lake, essentially, southeast of Quinlan. We don't actually cover this part of Texas very often, eastern North Texas in particular. But in this case, we are. We'll have a velocities update here in just a second. Texas has been getting hammered for weeks. Yeah, Texas in particular has legitimately been getting hammered for weeks now. And that rotation on the latest scan's gone, so this tornado warning actually might just get canceled. We'll see. That rotation really weakened on this most recent scan here. Maybe a brief tornado or a brief spin up, but the rotation was definitely stronger a moment ago. You can actually see this rotation in real time near Quinlan. It was actually a bit stronger here. Then when we go one more scan, still relatively strong as it approaches West Tawakoni, and then it kind of occludes to the left actually on the most recent scan. So at least weaker circulation for the time being here in this cluster of storms that's currently moving east and southeast right now. Where to join Discord? The Discord is linked in the description. Any bats on radar today? If we're live until 8:35 or so, we might see more bats in South Texas. We'll have to wait and see. It is a possibility. It is definitely a possibility today. Let me check and see. We do have a storm chaser. Let me just double check here. We do have a new storm chaser. So if we are live throughout the entirety of the conditional tornado risk, which I really don't know if we will be. I don't know what's going to happen there yet. We do have the storm chasing guide today. So we have a third technically storm chaser if we stay live for that. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure if we will. I'm not sure what's exactly going to happen yet. What we're looking at again is the storms in North Texas. Another area that we're watching for storm initiation is back over here in the Panhandle. This will probably be the primary storm that produces a threat for hail and even a tornado risk. So we are watching for this storm to really get going here near Clarendon. And this storm in particular, long term, if it is able to organize, could produce a strong tornado threat. But it's a highly conditional threat today. I mean, we really have to see a storm blow up here within the next within the next hour, really. But I would say within the next 30 minutes is really when we have to watch for this storm. It is really starting to blow up right now near Clarendon, Texas, and long term, if it gets going, it could produce an isolated tornado or two, which could again be strong as it moves east-southeast in that particular environment. The amount of wind shear that we have in today's environment, it's not fantastic, but it's definitely enough. And also the wind, the wind profiles in general, just very strong veering profiles, lots of spin throughout the atmosphere. So if we do get a tornado, it could be on the stronger side of things, but again, highly conditional threat right now in the Texas Panhandle, which is one of the reasons why we did not have a scheduled live stream for today, was because I didn't know if we were really going to go live. I didn't think we would go live for this, but we did. This is Storm Runner Media, by the way. They're on the storm in Oklahoma right now. I don't know why my camera keeps moving. Let's go to them real quickly. So they're right now in that storm, and they're in southwest Oklahoma, I believe. Or actually, no, now they're in Childress, Texas. So they're going for that western supercell that just initiated near Clarendon. That's a look at that supercell, the anvil, all the overshooting clouds there from Storm Runner Media. So they're out there right now. But again, if you're just tuning in, tornado warning for West Tawakoni for the next 40 minutes, but I don't think that warning will last that long. The storm's moving pretty quickly, 30 minutes actually. We are still watching for a potential for an isolated tornado with this. Latest radar scan shows much broader circulation. Looks like it kind of occluded to the left. We'll see what the next velocity scan does show here in just a moment, as this does continue to move east. By the way, we do cover North Texas on North Texas Weather Center on Facebook. One of the main reasons why we actually went live for this. I know we have a lot of viewers in North Texas, so big reason why we went live for this too. I would have done a dual live stream on Facebook and YouTube, but didn't really think of it. Back to the Texas show. It's been Texas, it feels like, every single day for the last, like, 2 weeks. It's legitimately been every day here in Texas. Specifically in North Texas too, it's been pretty active. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Gun Barrel City, Canton, Grand Saline, and Van with a tornado possible label on it. That probably means this tornado warning, as long as that rotation broadens on the next velocity scan, I think they'll probably end up canceling this tornado warning. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, if you're in the tornado warning, just continue to stay in that safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Bare minimum, we're looking at damaging winds, but I don't see any visible rotation here on radar at this point. So at least for now, it looks a little bit less concerning on this particular storm, but we'll continue to keep a close eye on it, obviously. Again, our main coverage zones today will be North Texas, really Texas in general. This mesoscale convective system that's collapsing down here to the south near Shreveport and whatnot, so Louisiana, Arkansas. We're also watching the storms in Wisconsin, specifically near Janesville, where damaging winds being the main concern right now. There is a tornado possible label on this, but I really don't think we're going to get a tornado with this unless we get some sort of notch, which right now it looks like all wind right now near Janesville and Milton. So, you know, we'll wait and see, but those are our main coverage points. And also northern Illinois, if any storms get there, we'll be covering that area too. So there's a few areas that we're looking at here over the next couple of hours, and there you go. So tornado warning has now been canceled in Texas. We're back to a tornado possible label on this particular storm. Oh, by the way, thank you to Runnin' Reb for the 5 gifted members. I do appreciate it. If you got a gifted member, make sure to thank Runnin' Reb. I do appreciate your generosity. All right. Can anything affect Austin? I don't think so. Here's today's risk, by the way. It's not even, there's no enhanced risk. There's a large slight risk of severe weather. You got your conditional supercell threat back over in Oklahoma and north central Texas. You got your large slight risk for the mesoscale convective system that's moving here to the south and southeast right now. That's mostly going to be wind with maybe a brief tornado embedded in that, some large hail being possible. All these black circles represent damage reports, so we've had multiple of those here over the last little while. And also we have our other slight risk back over in the Midwest, which is another area that we're watching, even though this is not really an area that we've talked about recently. We do have another slight risk of severe weather up here with a low-end tornado risk. Here's your tornado risk, again, anywhere from Milwaukee, back near Madison and Brockford. Really, the main concern for any tornado risk will be in here now. So northern Illinois and southeastern and eastern parts of Wisconsin will be the main areas to watch for here for a potential tornado. So again, it's a very low risk, I would say, overall at this point. And then our conditional tornado risk is going to be back over in southwest Oklahoma and as well as back into north central Texas and even parts of the eastern Texas panhandle, which any of this area as well, we could see a tornado or two, and we could see a strong tornado. I'm using the word could because it is a very conditional risk today. We have a supercell that is initiated near Clarendon. And this would be the storm, really, that we're watching for. I was on Storm Runner Media's stream earlier, so I was kind of talking about where the two areas I think would be the greatest potential for a tornado threat, even a large hail threat here. I think our greatest concern, I mentioned this earlier, but I thought McLean, somewhere in this area, would be where a supercell initiated. This is actually where it initiated, so a bit further south of the target zone than what I thought would happen, but pretty much the same general vicinity. We also could see one fire up here near Altus. So far, those updrafts have struggled, but if we get one more strong updraft here, we could get a storm firing off there. So we're going to be watching that closely as well. This is Storm Runner Media right now on that particular storm. They're approaching Memphis right now. They're approaching that storm near Clarendon, which already looks pretty impressive visually here. This is them live right now on that storm. Definitely looking at a little bit of a lowering, it looks like, over there, at least a storm base developing here on this particular storm. Thoughts on northwest Louisiana? Mostly a wind threat. Mostly a wind threat. I'm trying to boot up my other computer so I can listen to them. And there you go. They have now issued a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm. So quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, it's what's warned for. Honestly, the hail's probably larger than that already. We already have some black popping up on reflectivity. So these updrafts are getting very strong. There's definitely a possibility that as we get closer to Clarendon here, this could be producing hail as large as the size of golf balls and maybe even a bit larger than that. So that's what we're definitely looking at in terms of the threat on this storm currently near Clarendon and going towards Headley. So if you're in this particular warning, definitely stay vigilant. All right. We'll go back to Storm Runner Media in a second. I'm trying to pull up their stream on my other monitor here. All right, we're good. All right. Got a video from Janesville, Wisconsin. Let me check this out real quick. Thank you, by the way, Hunter, for the $5 Venmo. This should cover a cup of water for you at Disney World. Thank you. This is from Dale on Twitter out of Janesville, Wisconsin. Jesus. This is out of Janesville, Wisconsin. Very ominous skies. This is an area that we currently have a tornado possible label on, a storm here. And just notice again, very ominous skies here. Some interesting cumulus clouds in here too. But this was moments ago there. That was sent in by Dale on Twitter. Appreciate that. And that storm back up in Janesville, for the record. This is the storm that we're talking about. Again, I'm not really looking at much of a tornado risk here. I think it's a low chance. Where I'd be looking for that would be up in here, though, near Con. I don't know. I don't know Wisconsin names. That would be the area that we're looking at. There is at least a notch developing on the latest reflectivity scan. So we got kind of a little bit of hook here, got a little inflow. Maybe something there. We'll see. Eventually going towards white water. Velocities have not updated, but that would be the area that I'm looking at for maybe an isolated tornado threat. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there's something developing here. Let's see. Yeah, there's something there. So just north of Janesville, going towards Whitewater, we could get a brief tornado or a brief spin up there. That's what I'd be looking for here. So if you're back up in Wisconsin, definitely stay vigilant. This line of storms mostly going to be a wind threat. Also, even in here, northern Illinois, north of Chicago, I'd be watching for predominantly a wind threat here. We could get an isolated tornado embedded in this activity, though, which is why I'm mentioning that up there on the very northern side of this cluster. Usually on the northern and southern sides of these clusters. That's usually where the greatest tornado potential resides. Right there, near Lake Con Nong is where we'll be looking for the greatest potential there for a tornado. We'll go back there once we get another radar scan. Again, here's your mesoscale convective system back over in Arkansas, Louisiana, and even back into Texas. Not really looking at much of a tornado risk with this. We could get something out of this other cluster that's developed back over near Terrell. So we're watching that potential closely here. Again, tornado risk pretty low, but it's definitely not zero. So stay weather aware there. And really our greatest tornado risk would be probably coming out of the storm near Clarendon, which bottom right of your screen, Storm Runner Media will be approaching the storm here soon. Let's actually go to them. Look at that. They have a view of that storm base, and even the, looks like, look at that storm. Wow. You can kind of see it. You can kind of outline it there. Just a massive anvil, and we also got the storm base there right in the middle of your screen. It's behind the trees. You might get a better view here in a second. You're going through like the one town that's out here, other than Clarendon.
Actually, looks pretty good.
Yeah, we don't have a great view yet. We'll go back to them in a second. They have a view of that base. So the storm definitely has some organization. Velocity's not showing anything yet, but it might take about 30 minutes for this tornado threat to really ramp up here. We got a boundary here moving east to west here. Once it gets past that, I think the tornado threat will definitely increase here. This environment here is much more favorable for tornadoes once we get closer to Memphis and Childress. So that would be the area that I'd be watching for the greatest potential for a tornado. There's a car wash called Whitewater Car Wash. That's exciting. Thank you, Reyes, for the $2 super chat as well. I don't know where Gladewater is, but really the main concern, if you're in the Panhandle and as well as Western Oklahoma, North Central Texas, will be very large hail, and then a tornado risk will definitely be there. East Texas, North Texas, it's mostly just a wind threat. Thank you, Brandon, also for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. Depending on how long this stream is, by the way, we will have a members-only fan mail opening. That might be after the stream, I'm not sure yet. Or it might be tomorrow. Childress, Texas, tornado risk. I honestly think the greatest chance for a tornado today will probably be in Childress. I'm just gonna be honest with you, like in that general vicinity. So that'll be the area that I'm watching for. All right, this rotation is beginning to intensify a bit more now. This might get tornado warning near Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. We were talking about this before. That's starting to wrap a bit more here on the northern side of this little cluster here. So definitely a possibility that we do get a tornado with this. They might end up issuing a tornado warning on that. We'll see. Near Fort Atkinson, Hebron. If you're in those two locations near Coshocong, Wisconsin, or north of Whitewater, I would at least stay away from windows. Definitely going to be a damaging wind threat, but that is starting to wrap a bit more, which is a little bit more concerning. I live in Childress. I wouldn't panic. I'm just saying, I think the greatest concern will probably be within 25 to 50 miles of that area. Just that's I was doing a full, I was talking to myself before I went live. I was legitimately looking at all the analysis, you know, wind shear, photographs, all that sort of stuff. I was looking at everything. And honestly, the area that I think has the most favorable environment is right there near Childress or in southwest Oklahoma. And that would be like just west of Altus. So I honestly think the Texas Panhandle isn't really that great of an environment until it gets to the borders that, or the counties that border the Oklahoma and Texas line there. Thank you, Cap, by the way. Yeah, we'll see. They might issue a tornado warning on that. We'll see. Here's that Texas storm. Oh, Stormer Media had a pretty good view of that. We'll go back to them in a second. Let's see it past the trees. I think they have a view now. There you go. That's the storm right there. There's the storm base. So this is the storm in question for a greater tornado potential right now. Not really that high yet. It's still relatively low for at least a little bit. They'll probably try to increase though once we get closer to 7:30 or so. Hope you're having a good day. I got a pretty good amount of stuff done today, so not doing too shabby. Here we go.
A new tornado
warning. Okay, that's not where I thought it was. We have a tornado warning in South Dakota. So if you're in this tornado warning, seek shelter. I thought we were going to get the one in Wisconsin. Wow, that's horrendous. This is a new tornado warning, though, here in North Dakota, south of Lemon. So if you're in this particular pink polygon, seek shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Quite strong rotation, actually, moving to the northeast, going towards Highway 73. So that'll be moving northeast over the next several minutes. Morristown will also be in the track of this, but that's long term. So again, relatively rural area by the looks of it. I'm gonna check and see. It's near Highway 73. Yeah, so this it includes Shade Hill. So if you're in Shade Hill, North or South Dakota, sorry, not North Dakota, South Dakota, seek shelter away from windows on the lowest floor possible. If you're in a mobile home, get into a ditch. Again, radar indicated rotation right now. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible label on it. I think this one near Fort Atkinson's probably going to get tornado warned. We'll see what the velocities show. I was surprised I didn't get one yet. But right here, going towards Black Hawk Island and near Fort Atkinson, we'll see what the velocities look like. They haven't updated yet. We do have a pretty definitive hook here and also an inflow notch. So there's definitely a chance that we get a tornado with this. Latest scan, it's not super crazy. It's trying, though, on that northern side. It's definitely trying. We got really mostly a surge of wind here. This is the area that I'll be watching for that tornado risk. And it'll be, again, near Fort Atkinson. So that right there is what we're looking for in terms of a tornado threat. So not super definitive yet, but we're still watching it there in Wisconsin. Here's the tornado warning back over in South Dakota. Again, we will go scan by scan. We're not going to stay on the storm the entire time. But again, just some circulation right now moving towards Shade Hill and the Shade Hill Reservoir near Highway 73. So if you're in this warning, if you know any friends or family here, make sure that they are aware of this. Again, about a population of a little under 100. So it's, again, relatively rural parts here of South Dakota. But long term, if this does impact any other locations, it would probably be going in the direction of Morristown and Lemon. So those will also be the areas to watch for. Golf ball sized hail does remain a concern there as well. All right, let's go back to Texas on this storm that's initiating. Let's go back to Storm Intermedia here for the time being. Just saw this. YouTube notifications are dead to me now. Yeah, YouTube notifications don't always go off. I don't know why. I couldn't help you in that department. How's it look for DFW later tonight? I think it'll be fine tonight. Tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning look like the next chances for storm activity. Probably a couple of lines of storms. And the storm base on the left side of your screen here, near Clarendon. That's where the storm is. They are near Memphis, so they're still a little ways away from the actual storm base. But we have a pretty good solid shot of this huge anvil on it. Let me go back to radar here. I'm going to show you the satellite imagery for perspective, because this gives you a good idea of what's been happening here. Where is satellite? So this is the satellite imagery here in the southern plains right now. I'm probably going to zoom into Oklahoma. Actually, yeah, we'll just zoom in. Let's go to Oklahoma here in Texas. So this is the last few hours here. This is the last 2 hours on the satellite imagery. And the satellite imagery does give us a great idea of what's happening out there when it comes to storms that are, blowing up and whatnot. So we got all these storms here that are trying to fire up. This is as of 2 hours ago, right around about 5 o'clock. The storm back over in the northern Texas panhandle, that thing's been going for a while. The updraft's very strong there. We've had a couple of instances where storms have tried to develop near these boundaries back over in the eastern Texas panhandle. The one near Oklahoma struggled. It kind of got going here. You can see that right here, right along that little access near Childress. It really tried to get going, but that updraft just got cut off. And so you can kind of see the remnants of just now the overshooting cloud tops. So there's not much left there. But this supercell here is the one that we're looking at near Clarendon. This one has had no signs of weakening. I think this one's going to be the one that does produce the potential for a tornado down the road. I think the other storms out there, much lower chance. There's a lot less buoyancy up here in like the northern panhandle, north of Amarillo. So anything here I think will be more elevated hail and windstorms, and I think this is the environment here where the greatest potential for a tornado will exist. So if we put that into more simplistic terms about locations, basically Clarendon, Memphis, Childress, Quanah, Altus, Magnum, those are the areas that I'm looking at right now for a better shot of a discrete supercell, which is the one near Clarendon right now, of potentially producing the threat of a tornado down the road. Again, not a guarantee. It's still a relatively conditional threat today, but it's definitely not being ruled out. Here is the tornado warning back up in South Dakota right now. Let's go back to storm relative velocities here. So again, rotation right now located just to the southwest of Shade Hill. If you're in Shade Hill, South Dakota, again, seek shelter. Storm is coming towards you. We could have a tornado there at any time. Poor radar coverage, so it's not going to be a great viewing experience there on radar. Back over in Wisconsin, we've been watching for the potential for a tornado here close to Fort Atkinson. We still got a pretty definitive hook here on radar. Velocities don't really match up great with this, but we still have a little bit of circulation there. So if you're in Fort Atkinson, I would just take it on the safe side of things, and I would honestly just stay away from windows at the bare minimum. We at least, again, have some circulation there. That's right now moving east-northeast. It is really the main area where we would be watching for the potential of a tornado. Aside from that, it's all wind that's just surging right now, going towards like Whitewater, for example. We have damaging winds upwards of 60 miles per hour being measured by radar here, going towards Whitewater, Hebron, and the Palmyra area. So be weather aware, stay away from windows. Trees could definitely be falling down there. Back over near Rockford, Illinois, and near Marengo, it's all pretty much just developing convection. Nothing really materializing quite yet, but this will be an area down the road to watch for the potential for at least some damaging winds, and then maybe an isolated tornado. We do have a damage report coming out of Janesville as well. There's some trees and a few power lines down, or power poles, and we also have 6 to 1 foot, or 6 inch to 1 foot tree branches down, and irrigation equipment is overturned in the Janesville area. So we are definitely getting some damage reports there. All right, let's go back to this storm, which, wow, this storm's struggling too now. It's actually splitting. This is what it looks like. It looked really, really healthy a moment ago. That storm base does not look healthy anymore. These storms are struggling. Again, this is why it's a conditional threat here in Texas. No doubt about that. We got a storm split happening on radar too. Just a weakening updraft once again.
It's trying to get a tactic in their chat. It's trying.
Bust event? Can't be a bust when it was conditional to begin with. This isn't like a set in stone sort of event. And also, we still got an hour, so I mean, there could be some sort of redevelopment between now and 8 o'clock. I don't think we'll have anything. If nothing develops by 8 o'clock, I think we're not going to see really anything here when it comes to discrete cells. It's a very conditional tornado threat. But definitely still possible. But that storm not looking as impressive. Thank you, by the way, Julia, for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Bandit, for the $5 super chat. You still in Fredonia, Kansas, where they had 5 tornadoes on the ground at the same time a couple weeks ago. That is crazy. Hey, you looking for the $4.99? Are we done with storms in North Texas? Today, yes. Tomorrow and Wednesday, no. Thank you, Gray, for becoming a member as well. And welcome to the Velocities. Weren't I heading out on a family vacation? That's not until Saturday. I am still here until Saturday. Yeah, this storm. Nope. Just a big fat nope here near Clarendon. That thing is splitting and it's dying again. Now, this is a very interesting environment. I was looking at all the ingredients and stuff here in the Eastern Texas Panhandle. It's a very interesting environment, I gotta say. You know, we have actually quite a bit of spin in the atmosphere. So if we did get a tornado, you know, it would be probably on the stronger side of things, but it's just such a conditional threat. The moisture is one of the biggest problems. We have a very high amount of, I mean, the temperatures are pretty warm. The boundary's not really moving very fast. It's starting to speed up a little bit. Really, the greatest chance, though, if we do get a tornado, would probably be near Childress. It's just going to depend on if a storm really gets going there. That's the biggest thing right now. How much instability? Well, that's the other thing. Let me, this is, by the way, the tornado warning in South Dakota, going towards Shade Hill. Let me go ahead and show you the instability here. And I was literally looking at all the ingredients here earlier. Here's the 700 millibar chart. Here's the winds. We got a westerly flow, relatively weak low-level winds, but with how much spin there is, it wouldn't be hard to have a tornado. And then instability. This is surface-based instability. I mean, this is just crazy. We got instability values almost at, we have 6,500 joules per kilogram of instability just to the south of Childress, which in that particular environment here, that is just, I mean, you know, for reference, instability between 5,000 or even higher than that is just crazy to begin with. 6,500 is kind of off the charts. So that's a lot of instability to be working with. It's a very unstable atmosphere, but yeah, that's just, again, I don't think we're going to get anything crazy unless we really get something going here in the next, like, 30 minutes. I think it's a very short window there in Texas. Now, if a storm does get going, it will probably be ongoing towards 9 to 10 o'clock tonight. But something has to really pop off here in the next, like, 30 to 45 minutes, in my opinion, for something to really get going. Rotation, by the way, still on the stronger side of things right now. So if you're near Shade Hill or Highway 73, definitely avoid the roadway or seek shelter if you're in the warning. Back to Wisconsin here in Illinois. That's Arkansas. We're not going to Arkansas. Let's go back to the tornado possible storm here. Wow. There's definitely been there's definitely been rotation here, right just south of Fort Atkinson. No debris signature, nothing like that, nothing confirmed here, but we've had at least some circulation here. It's been going here for a little while. You can see that a little bit better here. Look at that rotation. So this is why there is a tornado possible label on this. The northern side of this cluster in southern Wisconsin was rotating a little bit. We got a little hook, we got an inflow, we got all that sort of stuff to develop. Rotation didn't really come together. It's still trying, but after this scan, it should broaden a little bit. We could see a redevelopment closer to Hebron or Rome, so that'll be the next area to watch for. Back near Janesville, I'm not seeing any sort of rotation there. But yeah, look at that radar imagery here. The reflectivity really wraps this thing in. See that wrapping feature here, right there. That hook is horrendous, but that wrapping feature there, really strong inflow, very organized storm. And if we did get a tornado, it would be in this more than likely, somewhere just south of Fort Atkinson. So, yeah, definitely interesting. No doubt about that. It has tried, has not succeeded. You try so hard, but you don't succeed. Thank you, Intercepted, for becoming a 1-month VIP Velocity member. I appreciate your generosity, and thank you for your support. We have a little surge of wind, though, right here. Let's get a Cold Spring. Wow, it's upwards of 70 miles per hour, according to Velocity's radar here. So, definitely some damaging winds upwards of 70 going towards Cold Spring, south side. There you go. There's your tornado warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
So tornado warning now in Wisconsin. This is, again, not super surprising. This has been going for a little while now, but they've now officially issued a tornado warning for Jefferson, Fort Atkinson, Canton, Whitewater, Hebron. I mean, this is just an unbelievable looking storm. We got a serious inflow here. We got a hook. It's your typical type of, tornado that we would get in a cluster or even a line of storms. So this, again, not shocking by any means. But if you're in this warning in Fort Atkinson, Whitewater, Palmyra, or Hebron, or Rome, or Helenville, you need to seek shelter, get away from windows, get on the lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building. Again, we've been talking about this storm, I think, for like 25 minutes now, so this has been definitely a threat for a while now. Just never really got going when it comes to rotation, but with how strong the inflow is here, it is very well in play that we do get a tornado. So we'll have to watch this very closely over the next several minutes, but definitely trying to wrap here. And with how strong this hook, or with how organized this hook is, and very strong hook echo, everything's kind of organized here. Very well in play that we get a tornado as this moves east and east-northeast. Here's the latest reflectivity scan as well. So we'll see what it looks like now. And yeah, still relatively organized. We haven't lost that curvature here on radar yet. So if there was a tornado, it would be right about where that black X is, near Fort Atkinson, which, by the way, is definitely a little bit more on the populated side of things. I think Fort Atkinson is actually, let me double check here. 47,000 people in this warning, so there's definitely quite a bit. Here are all the locations, by the way, in the tornado warning. So we got Hebron, Cold Spring, Whitewater, Palmyra, Coshocong, Fort Atkinson, Jefferson, Helenville, and Rome. So if you're in any of those locations here in Wisconsin, again, make sure that you're seeking shelter, get into an interior room of your home or building, and get away from windows. Here's the velocity scan. Let's see what the storm relative velocity show here. It's kind of just, it's trying to, it looks like it might be trying to recycle. So that's what we're gonna have to watch for. Because honestly, it was much stronger about 7 minutes ago. It's kind of broadening now. So we'll see if it tries to drop something here as it gets closer to Hebron. I think it's gonna have to try to recycle though. So that'll be what we'll have to watch for here as this moves to the east and east-northeast over the next several minutes. Just got the alert on my phone. Yeah, we've been talking about this storm again probably for about 15-20 minutes now, maybe a bit longer than that. And this is, again, just kind of a classic looking QLCS tornado. Got a very strong inflow. It's the northern side of the cluster. Usually a tornado threat will happen on the northern or southern side. It usually doesn't happen really that much in between, unless we get like a little small notch going. But yeah, I mean, not super surprising. The southern side, for reference, does not look impressive at all right now. We'll watch it as it goes towards Kenosha. It might intensify as it gets closer to the lakes, but it's definitely more of a wind threat on the southern side. Near Fort Atkinson, it looks a bit more organized. Now, if this does continue to produce a tornado threat, even if it doesn't, we're still talking about winds. It would eventually be on track to go in the direction of Milwaukee, so here's that kind of general track here. So if you're anywhere in that black box I just drew, those are the areas that I'd be definitely staying vigilant in, because we could end up seeing a tornado with this as it moves that direction. Even if we don't, we're still talking about damaging winds that could be upwards of 70 miles per hour with this particular storm. And QLCS, by the way, means quasi-linear convective system. It's just a fancy word for a spin-up tornado embedded in a line of storms. That's basically what we're looking at here. It's like kind of setup. We talk about QLCS tornadoes a lot when we're talking about lines of storms, and that's the scenario that we're currently in right now, where we do have at least some circulation right now. And if we got a tornado, it would be going right towards Hebron, and eventually towards Rome and Palmyra here in Wisconsin. No debris signature, nothing like that. Again, the rotation's not tight and confined yet, but we could get a tornado even in between radar scans, which is why you should be definitely seeking shelter if you are in this particular warning, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building here in southern Wisconsin. I'll track this out real quick since we don't have another radar scan yet. So it's moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. Might be moving a bit faster than that. Let me check the other one here. 30. Okay, we'll do 30. So here's the track down the road of this particular tornado threat. Do like 35. So timings on the left side of your screen there. Just a general track of this particular tornado warning cell. Again, Milwaukee, Menomonee Falls, Waukesha, Fort Washington, all those areas essentially going to be in the track of this. If it does end up producing a tornado, you would have to be very vigilant if you're back over in those areas, essentially, as that is where the greatest concern is going to reside here. Again, just around and east of Fort Atkinson, and eventually moving in the direction of Milwaukee, Shorewood, Waukesha, Menomonee Falls, all those areas. All right, while we wait for a radar scan, I just want to show you guys this real quick. These are mammotus clouds near Memphis, Texas.
Still technically under severe watch, but
look at that. Those are your Dippin' Dot clouds,
really gonna go. So,
sometimes called other interesting names.
I'm not gonna quite call it yet, I don't think. I think Freddy might, but I think we'll see if there's anything else.
Pretty cool stuff. That might be our storm chasing highlight from Storm Runner Media today, depending on how things go. By the way, the tornado warning in South Dakota still radar indicated. Just going to hop over to that real quick. Again, very rural areas here, so we're not really going to talk much about this. But if you're in Shade Hill area here in South Dakota, continue to stay in your safe place. A tornado does remain possible as this does move to the northeast. And here's the tornado warning again here in Wisconsin. This has gotten pretty interesting. So we had that hook shape, that feature on radar. Now this has just kind of become a big ball on radar. It's just a big ball. That's all this is. If we had a tornado, it's going to be wrapped in here completely, which I don't think we do for the record. But if there was one, it would be completely wrapped in this rain. It's a donut basically here of a storm. Kind of like a little dry slot almost on the back side here. And then we got our hook there. Very interesting looking storm here. Again, on track right now for Waukesha, Okamanawoke, Interstate 94. I don't know why we cover Wisconsin, because I can't pronounce a single thing in the state. All right. We're getting storms tonight in southeast Houston? I don't think so. I don't think there'll be much down there. Even if you do get any storms, they'll not probably be severe. I'm not seeing any rotation anymore. I honestly, like, when we saw the greatest rotation, it was actually before this warning got issued. It was really right here. That's when we had the strongest rotation about 7 scans ago. And we may have had a tornado here, just for the record. Like, we may have had a tornado touchdown near Black Hawk Island, or just like basically on the southwest side here, Fort Atkinson. Going back in the correlation coefficient, nothing really clear there of a tornado, but we may have had something at least briefly on the ground. It could recycle, so that's what we're watching for now. It's just kind of become a big ball here on the reflectivity. So we'll see what happens. Moving east-northeast. Thank you, Michelle, for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. All right, back to Texas real quick. We still have the tornado possible label east of Dallas-Fort Worth. Again, I think the tornado risk here is pretty low. I think the one tornado warning we had was just kind of like, kind of just a warning. I don't think there was really... I mean, there was rotation there, but I think overall the storms in their current environment are going to really struggle to really come together and produce a tornado threat here east of DFW. So I think the threat is a little bit lower out that direction. Back over in the Texas Panhandle, again, storms are struggling. I don't know what else to tell you. These things are not going at all. The updrafts have gotten cut off again. This environment, again, highly conditional today for storms. We will see if anything redevelops. I have a lot of doubt about that. What is interesting, though, is that we have mammotus clouds. Probably, again, the highlight of the chase today here in the eastern Texas Panhandle. So, there you go. Very fancy. Dippin' Dot clouds, balls, whatever you want to call them. Never underestimate a blip. I don't think we're going to get anything there, honestly. I have a lot of doubt. A lot of doubt. But if something happens, we're not ordering Culvers, so I don't think anything will happen, but you never know. The Billy for the $4.99. Appreciate the generosity. Show is over. It's not over. We're definitely gonna be live through this particular cluster of storms as long as there's a tornado threat here. But today's stream will not be super long. I mean, we're at 45 minutes in. It'll probably be between 1 and 3 hours long. This isn't like a 7-hour broadcast or anything like that. Even if we did get a storm there in the Panhandle, it would not last much longer than like 2 hours. So, but we'll see. Any bats tonight? Again, if we're live at 8:35 or so, we'll check it out. We'll see if there's any bats in Texas. But I don't know if we're gonna have any. A bit of a question mark right now. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they take off, and again, sometimes they don't. It's pretty cool to see that on radar last night. Okay, this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. Severe threat coverage expected it to increase. So we're not done yet here in Texas, in Oklahoma. There could be something. Again, very favorable environment if any storms get going and can stay alive, but large hail and severe wind gusts will be the main concern here. I'll see what their mesoscale discussion actually says as well. And again, right now we are in Wisconsin, just waiting for the radar to update here. Tornado warning still goes for Fort Atkinson and Whitewater in Wisconsin. Again, seek shelter away from windows, the lowest floor possible if you're in the pink polygon. And even if you're in the yellow polygon, I would honestly do the same, just because of the wind threat here. It's on track again, going towards Milwaukee eventually. Okay, so what they're saying is large-scale ascent associated with the trough will likely support gradual increase in convective coverage over the next few hours. That's in the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma. I don't know. That's basically what they said. I don't know if we're really going to get anything there. It's really going to have to fire up in the next like hour. But we'll see. It's still possible. I think it's a lower chance than before. Here's the latest scan. We still have rotation over near Hebron, so this is the main pocket. Again, completely rain-wrapped area of circulation here in Wisconsin. And so that would be where we're watching for the potential of a tornado. Again, just now passing through Fort Atkinson. It's now approaching Hebron, Wisconsin. It'll next be going towards Rome and Palmyra, and eventually going towards Wales, North Prairie, Eagle, Oconomowoc, Heartland, Pewaukee, Waukesha, Brookfield. All those areas will be in the path after this. So again, that area of rotation, that's where we're watching for the potential of a tornado. It would be right there in the bullseye basically of the rain that we have surrounding this particular storm. Again, this is on track to go towards Milwaukee, so we're going to be watching that area closely. Obviously this might not be producing a tornado threat by the time it gets to Milwaukee, but that is the eventual track of where this storm would be going long term. Short term, Hebron, Rome, Palmyra, Dozeman, Summit, and Wales and North Prairie are in the direct path of that area of circulation. And they've actually just gone ahead and canceled the warning, so we're done with that tornado warning, I guess. So no tornado warning there anymore, even though there is still rotation. It's not really as strong as it once was, but there is still circulation there on the west side of Hebron. It's completely rain wrapped. I'm still saying there is still a possibility for a tornado as this moves east-northeast. Even if the warning's gone, it is still possible. So if you are in Rome or Hallandville or Palmyra, don't get out of your safe place. I would honestly just stay there just in case we do get some sort of spin up there, because there is at least some rotation. And the severe thunderstorm warning is also canceled. Okay. That's interesting. So we have no warnings here at all anymore. Unless I'm tripping, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any warnings here anymore. Okay. Weather's canceled. The weather program has been canceled. There is still rotation here. I don't know. There's still rotation. I'm going to stay on this for another scan because I still think there's a chance we get something here. There is a tornado warning. The one tornado warning that we have is in South Dakota. Let's just hop to that real quick in Perkins County. South of Lemon. This storm still has relatively strong circulation right now. That's the rotation there near Highway 73. We could have a tornado on the ground at any time. So if you're anywhere near the Shade Hill area, make sure that you're in your safe place. Lemon, Morristown in northern South Dakota will be next in track for this. Again, this storm right now moving east, northeast, and northeast going towards Route 12. All right, we should have another radar scan here in a second. Okay, this thing almost looks like a hurricane. See, you see this? Category 6 hurricane in Wisconsin. There's no debris signature, so no tornado still. Even though there's no tornado warning here, we're still gonna see if there's any rotation or not. Yeah, it's kind of spitting out. Let me check the storm relative velocities here. Yeah, it's just a large, very weak and broad area of circulation. But it's a pretty interesting shape here on the reflectivity. This is that storm, by the way, that happened near Memphis, Texas. That's what's left of it. There's like nothing there. You guys have been here for a while, you'd know.
And then figure out if we're gonna go. If we want to stay here for the conditional threat.
Or go
So that
north.
storm is
Or
a
go north into
goner,
central Kansas.
at least temporarily.
It's a good play.
Hey, Crispy, for the $10 super chat. It's a sketchy level in southwest Louisiana. It's probably just gonna be mostly wind. I think it'll fall apart before it actually gets to you. At this point. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Yes, this is a mesoscale convective vortex, for those wondering. It's a pretty good spiral, and that's what we're looking at here on reflectivity. That's what this spiral is. Again, it's not a category 6 hurricane. If you actually thought it was, I don't know what to tell you. But this is a mesoscale convective vortex. Essentially, what we're going to be watching for here as this moves towards Milwaukee is an isolated tornado threat. I think it'll be very low. I think the better shot of severe weather here would be damaging winds if anything gets going. So that's what I'm looking at right now for the primary concern. Overall, still not a significant threat by any means, but it is a possibility. So that's what we're going to be watching for here. It's a category 6 hurricane? I just don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't think so. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oklahoma looking good? I think so. I think Oklahoma will be all okay. But we'll see. Again, it's really the main area that needs to be watched in western Oklahoma. If we, for some reason, see a storm blow up here, which is still possible, by the way, I think it's a low chance, it would be in western Oklahoma. Now, if we go over the last, 30 frames, you'll kind of see the evolution of these storms. You'll see we had one storm try to blow up here. This supercell really got going. That looked like the one that would produce a tornado, and then it split up drafts and it just died. And the storm up here north of Amarillo basically did the same thing at the same exact time. That also did kind of the same thing southeast of Pampa, the one near Perryton, which you can't even see on your screen. That one also is just kind of fizzling. So, I mean, we'll see. There might be something, but I mean, honestly, I'm not really confident that this storm is going to redevelop here. I really think if we do get something, it would have to be within the next hour or even sooner than that, because the environment after sunset, it's just not going to be as favorable for storm activity to initiate, at least. Really, the biggest thing here would be storm initiation. And so if we get at least one storm to initiate here, there's a possibility. This is what the HRRR model shows for reference on the reflectivity, which we don't always base our forecast just off this, but it gives you an idea of what the evolution would be. We're at 7:30 right now. This is at 7 o'clock. The HRRR perfectly shows those storms just dying. And then after that, there's really nothing there until after midnight back over in Oklahoma, where there will likely be storm initiation here. This would be mostly hail and wind going into the overnight hours, and it'll eventually turn into more of a mesoscale convective system, and yet again impacting, guess where? Texas. It's the area of the storms over the last couple of weeks, so that'll be tomorrow morning. But yeah, I don't know if we're really going to get something there. We'll see. And that's your tornado warning again. Seek shelter if you're in Shade Hill, South Dakota. We're still keeping a close eye on that. This is the storm activity that's back over in Wisconsin. Again, big spiral on this. You can also see the evolution here of this activity. Again, a full-blown mesoscale convective system now. I know the SPC said it's going to increase in coverage. I don't know. I don't see it personally. If I'm forecasting, I just don't see it happening. But we'll see. Never say never. I hate living in Texas. I don't know why you would hate living in Texas. You get ice storms in the winter and snowstorms. In the spring, you get severe weather, tornadoes. In the summer, you get 110-degree heat indices upwards of 120 in some cases. I don't know what there is to not like about Texas. The fall, you can sometimes get a hurricane. I mean, it's all there. Everything's bigger in Texas. My DFW get everything in Texas. You guys don't. The Hill Country actually gets a lot of storms. Hill Country, I'd say, is crazier, in my opinion. Just my opinion, though. It's too dang hot in Texas. It's very humid, too. That does not help. Does not help at all. Still have some broad circulation here, moving to the northeast. We're actually back down to 5 tornado warnings. So, or sorry, not 5 tornado warnings. Wow, that'd be a lot for this event. We're back down to 5 severe thunderstorm warnings, all of which are pretty much in Arkansas and Texas right now, and also back over into Louisiana. We actually have none in Arkansas anymore, so they're all in Louisiana or Texas. Here's the other mesoscale convective system that we're watching right now. This is weakening pretty quickly, by the way, here in Louisiana. We'll continue to see a surge of damaging winds across Louisiana with this system, but overall it is beginning to weaken. I think by the time we get closer to 9, this should be starting to kind of dwindle. And then back over here in parts of North Texas, the threat of severe weather does continue just east of DFW. Still watching for an isolated tornado threat. It does appear as if we do at least have mostly a wind threat east of Gun Barrel City, but maybe just a little bit of circulation on those initiating supercells that are kind of just merging all in that cluster. I do think DFW is done for now. Your next chance of storms would be tomorrow morning. And then severe thunderstorm watch goes for 3.5 hours here. So if anything gets going, we'll keep you posted. All right, rotation has completely died on this circulation near Fort Atkinson, and this has turned into a mesoscale convective system. From here, damaging winds the main concern and maybe a brief tornado. So we're still going to watch this closely as it gets closer to Waukesha and Milwaukee. Still a possibility. I don't even know where Wales is. Isn't Wales like in Europe or something? Thank you, Cassie, for the $4.99. I didn't think we were going live tonight. I didn't think so either, honestly. I thought today would be pretty conditional. But we went live. We have gone live. Live stream mode activated. Alright, let's go back to Storm Media here for a second. Tornado warning still ongoing again here in South Dakota.
Waiting for us
For Shade Hill. Okay.
That's what I'm saying, chat.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
There's a new tornado warning. Don't know where. Oh, okay. It's actually in Texas. All right, so we have a new tornado warning in Texas, just west of Tyler. So this is the storm we were just talking about. If you're in this pink polygon, just to the east of Gun Barrel City, south of Canton, seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Okay. So if you're in that pink polygon, seek shelter. I'd say really the main rotation's maybe near Athens, but maybe not. I'm not sure which rotation I'm looking at here. Main area of rotation I'm looking at here is just to the north of Athens. So, but if you're in the pink polygon, seek shelter. If you're just north of Athens as well, seek shelter. Get away from windows, get on the lowest floor possible, get into an interior room of your home or building. This is more than likely going to be a rain-wrapped area of circulation here. This is a rerun? We're definitely live. By the way, this does include Van Zant County, Texas. Main locations are Martins Mill and Tundra, Texas. Those are the main locations, and that's your rotation right there. It's actually pretty strong. Near Big Rock, moving to the northeast right now, going towards Denman Crossroads and Martin's Mill, and Holly Springs will be next in track of this. That's where the strongest area of circulation currently resides. So definitely seek shelter if you're in this warning. That rotation is definitely on the stronger side of things on this most recent scan. Right along, really, the county border here, just north of Athens. It's really just hugging the county border there. Let me see this tornado warning here. Here is the tornado warning. It's actually quite populated for this part of Texas. We got about almost 3,000 people here in Tundra and Martins Mill, just south of Canton, Texas. Canton, Texas is famously known for having that one tornado outbreak that happened, I think back in 2019 or 2020. Can't remember when, but there was a tornado outbreak that happened right along the stretch here near Canton. We ended up having, I think, an EF3 in this area during that outbreak. But this is an area that we've obviously had tornadoes in before. It's not the same sort of setup by any means, but the rotation is definitely on the stronger side of things, and we definitely could get a tornado with this at any time as it does continue to move east. No debris signature right now, but definitely pretty strong rotation right now. Tornado warning does go for 40 minutes, which again, these warnings are being issued well out ahead of time, like for a long period of time. It probably will not last that long, but it's 2017. Okay, I am 7 years late, I guess, apparently. So that's 2017 when that outbreak happened. Canton, Texas was 2017. Okay. So 2017, not 2019. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it was 2017. That was when we had the Canton tornado, which, again, this is south of Canton, but the rotation itself is moving kind of just parallel along the county border, north of Athens, eventually going towards Ben Wheeler, and long-term Tyler would probably be in the track of this, but, again, it's kind of hard to tell. This storm might go a bit more this direction. It could also go a bit more on the easterly path. I think it's going to try to go more towards Van down the road, but we'll see what this next scan shows here in just a second. And this is just east of DFW for reference, northeast of Gun Barrel City, near Big Rock. I'm guessing there's a big rock there. Going towards Denman, Crossroads, Walton, where strong rotation is, and we very easily could have a tornado on the ground at any time with how strong this rotation currently is. Poor Texas always has warnings. They do. They do all the time. Severe weather's nonstop here. Velocity should update in a second, by the way. Yeah, they should update in a moment. See what the rotation looks like here in a second. Do the terminal radar sites reach this? I don't think they do. Unfortunately, this is in a little bit of a radar hole. So, but the rotation even from the Shreveport radar site is also pretty strong. So, this is definitely strong rotation, and we very easily could have a tornado here at any time as this moves towards Tundra and Martins Mill, Texas. Canton would be on the eventual approach here. That is very strong rotation. We actually do have a live camera. Let me check. I know we have a virtual rail fan out of Big Sandy, which is not far from here. Let me double check that. Yeah, new radar scan, hopefully in just a second. That rotation, again, would be approaching areas like Martins Mill, Holly Springs, Tundra, and Jackson. So if you're in any of those locations, again, you need to seek shelter as there could be a tornado on the ground at any time as this storm does continue to move more to the northeast and east-northeast over the next several minutes. Here's that latest scan. So that rotation right there on the east side of Big Rock, near Denman, Crossroads, Walton, and Martins Mill, all in the path of that particular area of circulation. A little bit broader on the latest scan, but still strong enough where we could have a tornado. We're still pretty distant away from the radar site, so that's the one big thing to keep in mind here. Since we are just so far away, it is very possible that we have a tornado. We just can't see it on radar. So that's why in this situation, you definitely want to be taking this seriously and getting to your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Okay, we have a... We're going to go to the other scene here. Just give me 1 second. We have a live camera at a Big Sandy, which isn't far from this. Let's go to here. All right, we got... That's not Kearney, that is Big Sandy, Texas. So we'll see if we see anything here. This isn't far from where we are, so that's why I'm putting it there. So Big Sandy, Texas would be another area that's possibly on the track of this down the road. But Tyler, Texas is where some storm initiation's been happening. A lot of storm mergers happening, which is why that tornado threat is just kind of increasing, you know, here over the last several minutes. Just a lot of convection kind of pushing into this cluster. And as long as that happens, we're probably at least going to see an isolated tornado threat here over the next little while. Quick update on South Dakota, and then we'll go back down to Texas. Again, we still have some circulation here. It does appear as if it is a little bit broader, but we are still pretty far away from the radar site. If you're in Shade Hill, stay in your safe place for the next 6 minutes, and then Morristown in South Dakota would be the next in track of that. And then we have our mesoscale convective vortex happening here in southern Wisconsin, mostly a straight line wind threat. Again, maybe a brief tornado before that goes into the lakes, but other than that, it should be a relatively low threat. Back over in Louisiana, storms are beginning to fizzle pretty quickly, but damaging winds will be a concern with anything that continues here in this mesoscale convective system, anywhere from Longview, Texas, back into eastern parts of Arkansas. And then again, this is where really right now our greatest tornado threat is going to reside. It's going to be out of these storms that are currently over to the east of DFW, just to the east of Gun Barrel City even. Anything that can kind of develop in this environment here will have the potential for a short-term tornado threat over the next hour or so, maybe in the next 2 hours. So that's what we're looking at for the greatest threat. Yeah, tornado threat's pretty low today. I mean, the one place where we could have had a legitimate tornado threat really develop would have been here. But storm initiation, it got going, but storms have kind of fizzled. We might have something else trying to develop just west of Canadian. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We could get another storm to pop up here in the Texas Panhandle, but I still think it's a relatively low chance. It would have to, again, fire up in the next, like, 30 minutes for us to see some sort of tornado threat materialize there. Storm Runner Media is out there, so, again, they're on the right side of your screen. They're looking at the map right now, but they will be out there still, so if we see anything, we'll keep a close eye on them. I end up going live. I mean, I was planning on going live if we got any tornado warnings in Texas today, so I was just kind of ready for it. Which we had one in Wisconsin too, and South Dakota, which is still ongoing up there. So, I mean, today I had the live stream ready, and as I mentioned before I went live, tornado on the ground all over Scanner in Van Zandt County. Wait, let me check real quick. Let me check and see if this is actually confirmed or not. I don't see anything officially confirmed yet. I'm gonna look into this a little bit. This is the latest radar scan. That main circulation right now is approaching Walton and Martin's Mill here in Texas. I'm still trying to see if we can verify anything in terms of a tornado here. And this is very hard to verify via radar because we're just so far away from the radar site. Thank you, Civ. Appreciate the $5 super chat. They just updated the warning. It still continues as is. There is nothing officially confirmed here. We could have had a tornado, for the record, like when the storm first began. When we first had that strong rotation probably about 10 minutes ago, like near Big Rock, for example, I wouldn't rule out something that happened there near Big Rock. With that said, I'm not seeing anything confirmed here. Still trying to see, though, if we have anything. Do you cover hurricanes? I do. Reportedly, there was possibly a tornado as of 7:26, which was 18 minutes ago, on this storm. So that would have been near the beginning of this cycle when that rotation was pretty strong. That's at least the report that we're getting. That would have been near FM 316. So it sounds like there was possibly a tornado on the ground. But first responders are being notified. So we may have actually just had a tornado near the beginning of this actual warning. That's at least what we're seeing. And the rotation was really strong. And honestly, there's a pretty solid chance we at least had something brief, if not just very strong winds. So actually, as we speak, it does look like we had a large lowering and also just a very, at least some sort of cone tornado possibly on the ground there. I'm seeing some photos now on Facebook of this too. Okay, I'm seeing more photos. It does look like we did have a tornado on the ground near the beginning of this storm. So when the storm was first ongoing, when it first developed about 15 minutes ago or so, this was a likely tornado, large lowering right to the ground. So this was a tornado by the appearance. Now it doesn't seem as if it was on the ground for super long, but there was at least a tornado on the ground by the looks of it there briefly. If we do get any photos on Twitter, I'll definitely let you guys know. We'll retweet it and all that. Might even show it if I can find anything. But yeah, there was a tornado initially. We could still get another one for the record, but that's what we're looking at there. The tornado warning in South Dakota has now expired for the time being. I think it might have been replaced by... yeah, it's replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So tornado confirmed by Van Zant County EMS. Yeah, I think we did have a tornado. I'm just looking at some of the photos and videos here. It does appear as if we did have a tornado on this near the beginning of the cycle. If you guys do see any photos of that tornado, feel free to at me on Twitter, at MaxVelocityWX, and I'll definitely try to relay that. But yeah, it does look like we did have a tornado. Again, that was about 15 minutes ago or so. That was near FM 319 for reference, or 316, sorry. This is that route there, so near Big Rock and Falba. So that rotation on radar looked very strong, and I'm guessing this is what the tornado was. I'm guessing this is where it was. It would have been probably there, but it was a pretty solid lowering, so... All right. But thank you, by the way, Braxton, for the $49.99. Put some hearts in the chat for Braxton. Do appreciate your generosity. No problem at all. Appreciate your generosity, and thanks for tuning in. Again, if we do have a tornado still, which is pretty unlikely, but we could get one here near Highway 19, that's eventually going to go in the direction of Ben Wheeler. So Ben Wheeler, stay alert. Down the road, Tyler, Texas, Hideaway would be long-term tracks of this, but it's still a little ways away from that area. Maybe some rotation in Tyler. Not really. Just some convection popping up there near Tyler. Now, as we do get some storm mergers in this cluster, there could be some brief spin-ups, but it's a relatively low chance. I think if we do get a tornado, it would probably come out of this here. That's north of Athens. This particular storm convection. This is now our second tornado warning on this part of this cluster that we have. So I think if we do get something, it would probably be on the southern side. So the one that we have here near Murchison, for example. I think that'll be our better shot there for a potential for a tornado. Thank you, J33 for the $19.99 max hydration. I do appreciate your generosity. Thank you, Hellcat, for the $20 super chat as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. Is Van in danger? You have storms around you. This rotation right now, mostly moving east and east-northeast. I would stay vigilant if you're in Van. It could still go towards Van. So I would at least stay weather aware at this point. The virtual rail fan in Big Sandy is actually moving. Let's go to this. Ooh. So this is the virtual rail fan in Big Sandy, once it loads. They have a live shot of this storm rolling in right now. Very ominous skies there. I'm not sure if the controller will go back to it. But very ominous skies here in Big Sandy, Texas. I'll be back in a second. I need to get water. Okay. Gotta get my water jug. I wasn't prepared to go live. Alright. Oh, there we go. The controller's watching our stream. So again, this is the virtual rail fan here in Big Sandy, Texas. Very ominous skies here. And for reference, Big Sandy, Texas is just to the west of Longview, northeast of Tyler. So this isn't really where the, if there was a tornado, we probably wouldn't see it here because it's just further up to the north. But let's go to radar real quick and I'll show you. That tornado warning, by the way, has been canceled as the rotation's broadened out. But this is where we'd be talking about here. It'd be this storm activity that we have near Tyler. Just very ominous skies. Big Sandy's kind of up in here. So this is the storm activity that we are talking about. So any of this activity could produce something when it comes to maybe a brief tornado threat. Probably more of a wind threat, though, honestly. I still think we have at least a tornado risk out of this convection that's west of Tyler. So that'd be the area really to watch for. Let's go back to the virtual rail fan here for the time being. Stay on this. Very, very, eerie skies, obviously. In addition to that, you can see the trees. They're not even moving. It's the calm before the storm. This is what you don't usually want to see. But it's mostly a wind threat here. Yes, there was likely a tornado. I think there was. The photo's not fully verified, but there was likely a tornado back over in sorry, I'm reading something. Back over just to the south of Canton near Big Rock. But again, not fully verified, but there was likely a tornado. It was at the very beginning of the cycle of that storm, which was again about 25 minutes ago. We don't have any recent reports of that, though. That was when it first began. The tornado warning has now since then been canceled. So at this point, it's no longer on the ground from what we know. It looked more brief than anything from the photos that I was seeing. Way too calm. I know. I mean, again, this is not a photo. This is a live shot. This is live here on the virtual rail fan in Big Sandy, Texas. Very, very calm. I have no clue, by the way, what Stormrunner Media is even talking about right now. I'm gonna let you know. I haven't been listening. I think they're still doing some like weather forecasting stuff. Couldn't tell you. They're back over in the Panhandle, so they're not really, they don't have any storms right now over there. Still very ominous here. Let me, I'm gonna put on the other Big Sandy virtual rail fan on the right side of your screen, too. Let's look in the other direction. Okay. Good to go. Any bats? We're still about 30 minutes from then, so if we're live when that happens, I'll let you know. But we're still a good half an hour away from any bat action. if we do see any bats. So that'd be something if we do. Thank you, Sam, for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. I do appreciate it, and welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, thank you. By the way, I don't know yet if we're doing the mail opening stream. I'm gonna let you know. It depends on when the stream ends. We might do the fan mail unboxing after this stream is over. I'm not sure when we're gonna end the stream at this point, but if we end it within the next like half an hour, it's possible after the stream we do that for members only. Otherwise, it'll be tomorrow. So just an FYI for those that are members. I'm not sure when that'll be yet. Thank you, Jonah Hale, I think. Thank you for becoming a Velocity member. Here's the shelf cloud, by the way. And we also got a train coming in as we speak. There's your shelf cloud on the horizon here. Now, the camera is now frozen, by the way, so this is actually a still photo. But you got your shelf cloud there in the background. Oh, wait, nope, never mind. It's not. Just kidding. It was not a still photo. There's no wind here right now, so we don't have, like, any sort of... we don't really know if it's actually standing still or not. But that's your shelf cloud right there, so that's rolling in. I thought the train was moving, but I guess not. That's the Detroit area. I'm not expecting anything in Michigan. There's cameras to watch trains. That's what virtual rail fans are. That's what I'm using. That's what they're made for, but we use them for weather because they're all over the country. Where are we looking? I don't know who's controlling this. This is pretty funny though. We're looking at a sidewalk, I think, or is that a road? Go back to that camera in a second. This is the storm that we're talking about again. Damaging winds up to 60 being the main concern. Maybe an isolated tornado. We still have some circulation near Ben Wheeler, so we could still get an isolated tornado as that moves eastbound. We got severe weather all across here, northern Louisiana, southeastern parts of Arkansas, with mostly a wind threat. The storms in Milwaukee right now, they are weakening very quickly as they get closer to the lake. Stabilizing atmosphere overall, so wind is the main concern, but it should be mostly gusty winds at this point. We still have a storm back over in South Dakota producing some ping pong ball sized hail, maybe an isolated tornado threat here, but it's again a relatively low threat overall back up in that area. But yeah, overall the main concern at this point I think is kind of over with. Let's go back to the Panhandle. And we got one little storm initiating here just west of Canadian. Could it do it? Could we see something come from this tiny little storm here? What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking? Yes or no? Does this produce a tornado today? I'm saying no. But you never know. It's a very tiny little cell that's developed. It's trying, but it's probably gonna struggle. All right, here's Big Sandy, Texas. That shelf cloud's approaching. No? Okay, most people are saying no. You said no? I think you're right. I think you are right. I don't think we're going to see any tornadoes in Wisconsin. Again, it's mostly a gusty wind concern right now. Friendly reminder, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below, like the stream. By the way, quick reminder, our limited release 250,000 subscriber merch is going away on Thursday. You only have 2 more days to pick it up on shopmaxvelocity.net. Here's what that looks like. Again, you can pick this up on shopmaxvelocity.net. The link is at the top of the description. We have a shirt and as well as a hat that you can purchase there. So make sure to check that out. Again, this is going to probably be our last live stream. Unless we go live tomorrow, it'll probably be our last live stream to actually let you know about this, because Thursday is going to be, you know, a few days from now. Severe weather not expected on Wednesday, or it's at least a low risk. Same thing with Thursday. Links in the chat. It's also the top of the description if you want to check it out. shopmaxvelocity.net. The storm is beginning to roll in here in Big Sandy, Texas. Very ominous skies, obviously, here. This is not our last ever live stream, no. Just the last live stream before that merch goes away. It's a limited release. Never coming back again. And just as a reminder, this is where we're looking right now. Got the storms rolling right into Tyler, Texas right now. Mostly a wind threat. Could get an isolated tornado. I think the threat again is still on the lower side of things. Back to this live cam for now. My new t-shirt is high quality. They are high quality shirts. I have 3 of them. They're all very high quality. Now, I was trying to say this earlier. I went live. So just for the record, before we went live here, at the very beginning of the stream, I was on my VR headset. I was playing some ping pong on the VR, and all of a sudden, I get a ding on my phone. It's like a big vibrate. I'm like, must be just somebody messaging me. Nope, it's a tornado warning for Quinlan, Texas, or just south of there. And that's when I darted in here. I think my VR headset is still on. I have to turn that off. I darted in here, and I, clicked the live button. I'm like, we got to go live for this. This is my VR. I have to. I don't even think. I think it's still on. Let me double check. Yep, surely is. Alright, now it's off. Alright. Thank you, Kevin, for becoming a member. It's gonna be so out of context there. Yes, it's the MetaQuest 3. The only 2 things I do is ping pong and Beat Saber. Basically just to... I basically use it, at least recently, I've been just using it for exercise, because I try to do it before live streams, because I sit for long periods of time. So... Make it your thumbnail. Pretty funny. Maybe on the second channel. Storm is about to be rolling in here to Big Sandy, Texas. Looks really weak when it comes to wind, though. The storm's kind of rolling in. Got a lot of flashes of lightning. Let me real quickly go back to... So this is, again, Tyler, Texas, where we are. Storms are trying to initiate still here in Texas. They are still struggling. I mean, look at this thing. We got 2 little storms that are trying to develop here. Near Pampa. They're trying. I really don't think anything's going to get going here. But we got 2 little cells that are trying to develop right now in the Texas Panhandle. Let me see what the future radar looks like here. Yeah, even the latest HRRR model run, I mean, again, this is just a computer model. It could be different. Surface analysis is a better tool in this situation, but it doesn't really show much after 9 o'clock. Back over in, like, North Texas, for example, it shows that cluster continuing to move towards Shreveport, maybe a brief tornado threat through, like, 10. It's a relatively low risk. Here's the satellite imagery, by the way, of these storms. Look how big those storms are. It's pretty crazy. Huge, huge thunderstorms. Lots of overshooting tops there. I just don't see it happening. I do not see the Texas Panhandle happening at this point. I'm looking at these storms even on satellite. It looks like a big thunderstorm, but I just think long term those things are not going to be able to do it. All right, here's the Big Sandy storm. It's now actually rolling in. It looks like lightning's beginning to pick up a bit more now. The little storm that could, literally. Time for the Culver shirt. We do have 3 packages for the fan mail opening. So again, that's probably going to happen after this stream, not immediately, but we'll probably do it in like about an hour or so. If you're a member of the channel, you'll be able to watch that. Again, that is going to be for members only, our fan mail unboxing. We've had a lot of people send fan mail in, so that'll be after the stream, probably about an hour or so. Because I don't think we're going to be live all the way until 9. I just don't see it happening. there's a tree. We're doing a whole 360 here. Not sure what this is. There's something there. Just looks like clouds moving, though. There's the leading edge. That's your shelf cloud there in the background. There's a train, it looks like, or a light. Can't really tell. Looks more like a light to me. Dude, a full 360 here. How do I send pictures to you? You can at me on Twitter, at MaxVelocityWX. That's the preferable way. Secondary way would be like Facebook or something like that. Those would be the two main ways. Yeah, these are just not really coming together. They're struggling. Let's see if the bats have taken off yet. I don't think they have. I don't know if we're gonna see them. What's this? Is this just a shower? I think that's just a shower. I don't think those are bats. I'll double check on the satellite imagery and see. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Tyler. That is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Ooh, wait. We might have a video of that tornado from earlier. Give me 1 second. I think I might have a video of that tornado, possibly. From earlier, near Canton. Let me double check satellite too. I'm multitasking 3 different things right now. By the way, I don't know why our background is purple. It kind of looks purple. It should be blue. Just letting you know. Okay, I don't think those are bats, by the way. Just an FYI. Thank you, by the way, Tommy, for becoming a moderate velocity member, and welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Jack, also for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. And I'll show you guys the video in a second if we have it. Just give me a second, though. Try to see if I can get permission to show it. Like that tornado in Canton earlier. For those who are wondering, by the way, Connor Croft is on like vacation for the next like 5 days or something like that, so he's taking a break. So we will not have him with us, even if we go live for the next few days. We'll have Storm in our media. We also have that storm chasing guy, who's a new chaser we've never used before. We were going to use him today if anything got going, but nothing really got going there in the Panhandle. But he will probably be in future streams, so we are starting to branch out with more storm chasers. Still waiting to see if I can show it. Thank you, Sean, for the $2 super chat. Nothing really showing rotation right now. It's mostly a wind threat at this point. I mean, we could get a brief spin up somewhere in here, but I think the chances of a tornado have gone really down drastically here. We do have a tornado possible label on the storm that was back over here in South Dakota. That's been downgraded now to just ping pong ball sized hail. Every storm at this point is just severe, so not looking super concerning. Connor is slacking. He deserves a break. I mean, every storm chaser deserves a break. Every weather caster deserves a break. I mean, I'm taking a break next week. So I will not be doing any live streams between Saturday and next Friday. So I'm taking a full break. And I am very excited for that, because I've not had a break legitimately at all in a long time. So, be a full week off. I'm losing hope I'm going to get permission to show this. They've seen my message but haven't responded. I will not go live even if there's something significant, honestly. I'm taking a full week mental break starting on Saturday. I need it. I'm not even going to do an emergency stream. I usually would, but honestly, it's not happening. Unless for some reason I'm in my Disney hotel room and I'm like, because I'll have my setup still, but I'm not gonna, I might do like a video or two, but unless there is something that I can do like a quick like 30 or 45 minute update on, I might consider it, but I'm not doing a full-blown like 8-hour coverage or anything like that. Maybe just like an update stream or something like that, if needed, but that's still a stretch. I highly doubt I'll even do that. I want to relax, and I'll be with a lot of other family members, so. Okay, here's the video. We got the video of that tornado from earlier. Thank you, Chris, for the $5 super chat. We got 2 inches of rain in a short time. My garage flooded. Yay. That does sound exciting. Not actually. I hope everything's okay there. That right there. Wow. That's the tornado in Canton from earlier. That was on the ground for like maybe like 30 seconds. It wasn't even on the ground for that long. That'd be it right there, though, from earlier. So this was definitely a tornado. At least briefly. What's today's date? 6-3? Who would have thought North Texas would have the tornado today? Like, out of all places. Like, this is like the one place that I would say that we would not have a tornado in today. And we legitimately had a tornado here. It's kind of crazy. It's a likely tornado. With how condensed it is, I think it was. I saw some other photos and videos of this particular tornado from other people. It looks like it was a tornado. It looked like it was actually touching the ground. So I do think there was actually a tornado. Again, we didn't have any debris signature or anything like that, but we're so far away from the radar site, it was just so small. So I'm honestly, that's kind of where I'm looking at this point in terms of that. Damaging wind threat will continue here in Arkansas, Louisiana, all those states. We also got severe weather apparently up in Montana. Damaging winds the main concern as that tracks to the east. Hailstorm in South Dakota is weakening. Activity overall kind of chilling out at this point. So at this point, I think things are kind of already winding down here. Could still get an isolated tornado out of this activity. I think it's a low chance, but it's not zero. So continue to stay weather aware if you're near Tyler, Texas. We still have a little bit of rotation. That's kind of rain wrap there, but I think the main concern at this point will be wind. So is Tyler getting hit? You're getting hit with mostly just a wind threat. So damaging winds up to 60 and some quarter-sized hail are the main concerns at this point. That's what I'd be expecting. But yeah. By the way, thank you to Cody for the $19.99. I appreciate that, and thank you for your generosity. Thank you. Appreciate anybody that super chatted or became a member. I do want to remind you, we'll have a fan mail unboxing stream for members only in approximately 45 minutes. So make sure if you want to become a member and watch that stream, you can become a member. The link's going to be in the description. It's also the join button down below. In addition to that, we will have a members only Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader live stream. This is the first time we've ever done a gaming stream, or it's not really gaming, but it's like a kind of like a questionnaire sort of thing. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? We'll have that at some point, either this month or next month. So if you want to watch that, that'll also be for members only. We'll do that whenever the weather's quieter, and I'm also here. It's probably gonna be really funny. I'm actually kind of curious to see how that goes. So if you want to watch that, you can become a member. and you'll be able to watch that. It's either going to be this month or next month, whenever the weather's quieter, which it's going to be kind of quiet the rest of this week, but we'll probably save it until after my vacation. So that'll be interesting as well. Aside from that, this stream's pretty much done. Again, not really that long of a stream. Wasn't really supposed to be a long stream, but I do appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. If we're not live tomorrow, the next time we'll be live is probably gonna be next, like the third week of June, probably. Here's the severe weather risk for tomorrow. It's another large risk, very low tornado risk. If anything gets going, we might consider a live stream, but I'm not really thinking about going live right now tomorrow, but we might, we'll see. Since it's later it's gonna be evening more than anything, so we might go live, but again, we'll kind of wait and see. All right, if we're not live tomorrow, I do want to remind you again that our limited release merch is currently available for only 2 more days until June 6th, which is Thursday, or 3 days. Shopmaxvelocity.net is the top link in the description below. Pick it up if you want to get a hat or t-shirt. These 2 are only here for 2 more days, and then they're gone forever. A lot of you guys have already picked it up. I'm just giving you one other reminder in case I'm not live tomorrow. This is one of your last chances to do so. So shopmaxvelocity.net, top link in the description below. Very high quality shirts and also very high quality hats. Everything is very high quality. I wouldn't be selling merch otherwise, so it's pretty high quality stuff. If you're under any of these warnings tonight, continue to stay weather aware, stay vigilant, stay away from windows, all that sort of jazz. But again, there's really no reason to be live at this point. It's kind of a dwindling threat. We could still get an isolated tornado here near Tyler, but I still think the risk overall is on the lower side of things. So I wouldn't be too concerned. All right. We'll be back live for members in about 45 minutes or so, so stay tuned. It might be sooner, we'll see. But if you're a member, we'll be live again in 45 minutes for members only fan mail unboxing stream. And thank you, Michael, also for becoming a member. All right, we'll see you guys again soon. Again, if we're live tomorrow, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and we'll see you guys all again soon. Thank you, Sherry, also for becoming a member. We'll see you guys all again soon. Have a good night, and stay safe, and we might be live tomorrow, but probably not. See you guys soon.